but there was some passing going on, so they stay hooked up. I think they got 205 in them.
Look at McMurray. He has a big run down.
Oh, we got one spinning.
And it's McMurray.
Got it.
Man, that thing is flipping, rolling.
That car is junk.
You got that right.
Well,
I just hope he's okay.
A ride right
He
there.
had been incredibly fast. He got a huge run off turn 2, caught a pack of cars, made a quick move, and ended up in the fence.
Mike, it just really wouldn't surprise me to see some kind of maybe adjustment on the speeds here, because the cars are really, really fast.
Yeah, that happened way too easy.
And he's climbed out. Jamie McMurray is out of the car. Thank goodness.
Crew members are all, you know, standing around at 13, one of our faster cars. There's McMurray out of the car.
All right, let's see what happened here, as McMurray had a big run coming off 2.
See the 31 of Newman with a pretty good run. No, he maybe cut a tire.
Something happened to that car. It just went around all by itself on the straightaway.
And see, what really slid that car over was when Newman hit him on the left side, it lifted the right side up and caught air.
Yeah.
And look at that car come apart against the fence.
It just disintegrates.
I mean, everything did its job of what it's designed to do. The fence kept the car on the racetrack. Car stayed intact.
Watch this car now. It's just gonna turn all by itself right there.
Oh, the left rear. The left rear tire.
Yeah. Right over the top of Newman's car.
Yeah. Newman and Ty Dillon both with a good bit of damage.
And Mike, the 2 fastest cars, the 1 and the 13, were both involved in that accident.
That's right. Now watch the left rear on the number 1.
Yeah, you can see it start to turn sideways. He's trying to adjust to keep it going straight. But once he turns back to the right, the back end just has no grip to keep it going in a straight line. Now see, I think the car's fine. Started to lift a tiny bit, and then contact from the 31.
Yeah. When that right side started to come up just that little wee bit, and then the 31 hit him in the left side, it just flipped him over.
But I think that's what NASCAR is going to be looking at, is that right side came up a tiny bit and caught a little air, even just before the 31 made contact. And that goes back to what you were saying, DW, about how fast these cars are right now.
They're just blazingly fast.
Ty Dillon.
Going middle, check up below.
Looks like he checked up, got hit from behind.
Yep.
Who's that rolling back there, Ty?
People lifting, our shit torn up. Get it back.
Ty had done our Fox Procast, was happy he had won the first practice session.
Pretty
now
amazing
that car's
view from our visor camera.
Wow. Thank goodness, look, there's safer barriers right there. He kind of goes above them a little bit, but nonetheless, safer barrier there in this situation.
And a lot of reinforcing in that catch fence to keep that car contained and on the track surface, and all of that infield area has now been paved. This is riding for Kevin Harvick.
You could almost see that left rear starting to go a little bit low right there.
We got a wreck behind you, one down the road. Big wreck, flipping.
You know, the thing that's scary as a driver in that situation, you just don't know when it's going to stop rolling. You're just holding on tight. You don't want to feel one of those big impacts, which it didn't seem like he did, but it just kept going over and over.
Yeah, I know Harvick wasn't in it, but his spotter sure was calm and cool.
Jamie McMurray had the fastest car at Talladega. Once again, Jamie climbed from the wreck after that car flipped violently several times down the backstretch and into the catch fence. Jamie is okay. They've already unloaded the backup car for him. Ryan Newman, who collected McMurray, also with damage, and Ty Dillon. That's 3 really fast Chevrolets taken out in this. Now McMurray's the first car in the middle lane. Newman behind him.
Looks like the car starts to wiggle just a little bit right along there.
Right there.
And then here she goes.
No contact between them.
Now let's see the right side of the car. It's coming pretty good,
Yeah.
pretty good. And it starts up, and once that right side's off the ground a little bit, the 31 just flips him over.
NASCAR, before we went into Daytona, was saying that they had increased the liftoff speed by 30 miles an hour with some of the aero changes they had made, trying to prevent just this kind of happening.
Well, Mike, I love fast race cars, and I love watching cars go fast, but we're at 204 miles an hour in practice, in a practice draft. I just don't know where those speeds might end up, and I think that's going to be something that they're going to have a conversation about.
Daniel Suarez also involved. Apparently he was the car that made contact with Ty Dillon. And I mean, all four of those cars were right at the top of the practice speeds.
Yes, sir.
Goodness.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things to diagnose there. One, why did the left rear tire go down? Was it rubbing? Was it, air pressure? What was it that caused it to fail? And then the other is that car getting a little bit of air before the 30. There's nothing you can do about a car when it makes contact and sends that car up into the air and then rolls over. But there's certainly things that NASCAR can be looking at. Like you said, DW, maybe slow the cars down if that car can get air all by itself when it turns around.
We're going to take a ride through this accident scene with Ty Dillon, who's wearing our Fox visor cam.
Going middle, check up below. Yeah, we got front from behind. Who's that rolling back there, Pat?
One.
And you could just see his head just move slightly right before he started to go around because the 19 of Suarez made contact from behind.
A cut left rear tire sends Jamie McMurray's car to the scrapper. This is the history of Talladega. That was Bobby Allison, cut tire. Brad Keselowski and the 99 Carl Edwards, and I think that was Ryan Newman. Elliott Sadler. Heavy metal music, heavy metal to be sure. And Jamie McMurray cuts a left rear tire, spins sideways, the car starts to lift, and then Ryan Newman gets underneath and sends him into the air. He's been released from the care center. Here's Vince.
Well, and the best news, Mike, is to see Jamie McMurray walk out of the care center after that incident. What's going through your mind at over 200 mile an hour when you realize there's a problem?
Well, I think I blew a left rear tire out, and when you're going that fast and you get turned sideways, you kind of know someone's going to hit you. But it's crazy like how quiet the car gets. And I've been racing forever, and I've never done the roll like that before. And I just kept my eyes closed. I'm not gonna lie, because I didn't really want to see what was gonna happen. I opened my eyes a couple of times, but you can't tell what's up, and you can't really tell where to brace yourself. And I just, in my mind, was like, I just hope it lands on the upright so that I can get out. That's a huge fear I feel like as a driver, is to have the car land upside down and be on fire, because you're so disoriented trying to get out upside down. That's hard, and so I was just thankful that it landed right side up.
You just saw the replay for the first time. As you watched the replay, what's going through your mind?
I mean, just kind of watching how many times it's tumbling, right? I think as a race car driver, those are the worst positions to get put in. When you blow a right front tire and you see the wall coming, you kind of know how those impacts are going to be. You know how to brace yourself. When it's tumbling, you can't tell where the impact's going to come from. You also don't know when it stops, is there going to be more cars coming? I don't know how many cars were out there, but I felt like we had a bigger draft than normal. So I mean, there's just a lot of unknowns.
Thanks, Jamie. Glad you're okay. Mike.
Thanks, Vince. You see Ricky Stenhouse narrowly missed this one. Ryan Newman not so lucky. As that car goes up in the air and rotates over once and then just keeps on turning. DraftKings are back with a $10,000 contest you can play when you make your first deposit. Download the app, sign up using promo code PITSTOP. 4 cars piling up in the back straightaway when the one of McMurray cuts a tire. Ryan Newman involved, Ty Dillon and Daniel Suarez. Here's Vince with Ryan Newman.
Well, and as we said for Jamie, it was great to see Jamie walk out, and the same said for Ryan. What can you do in that situation? Anything?
Well, I lived through another one, so thankful for that. I got to thank the man upstairs, and obviously he blew a cutter, left rear tire, and turned sideways in front of me. I had nowhere to go. I was on the brakes, but when you're going to 260, whatever we're doing, it's just nothing you can do. So I was along for the ride. Unfortunately, his car got airborne. Something needs to be addressed there, but it was not what we wanted in second practice there. We typically don't do second practice, but we'll have a good Caterpillar Chevrolet for a backup car. I'm sure that primary engine will be out of this primary car, put in a backup car, and we'll see how fast we can make it on Sunday.
Glad you're okay. Thanks, Ryan. Jamie?
And Ty Dillon was second on the board. They're over 203 miles an hour. You will be going to a backup car for just the second time in your career. What's going through your mind in that moment when you're seeing so much moving around? We're going to go for a ride here. Go on board with you. You're carrying the camera for us.
Yeah, first of all, going 203 mile an hour, things happen quick. So I saw a run come from the 19. We were moving around the 17. It waved me off, and I saw the one turn. And as I checked up, that line behind me couldn't get stopped. They hit me in the right rear, and at that point, going that fast, there's nothing you can do. Just hang on tight. And I'm fortunate to see a car get up in the air like Jamie did. I'm glad he's okay to see him walk away. You can see me leading that pack, and the 19 just hit me in the right rear there. Thought I had it saved, and then I just couldn't hold on to it. So we're running so much skew, and the way that NASCAR's opened up the rules to be able to get the cars so low, everybody's pushing the limits, and I think they cut a tire. So that's kind of unfortunate. You push until something breaks, and unfortunately it did on the one. I got our Geico Camaro. We were super fast and really proud of the hard work that's gone into it. But I think our backup car, the guy said it's called Jingles, and it's never finished outside the top 10 at a speedway. So we're going to go to that, use the same setup we had, and I think it's going to have a lot of speed. So proud of my guys' effort. Bad start to our Geico 500 weekend, but we have some speed, and that's very exciting for our team.
What are your thoughts, though? Now you won't have time to jump in this backup car and practice it all. You're just going to have to go out there and qualify at this place with these speeds. What's that like?
I think I've got the feel that I needed. When you come to a super speedway, you just want to kind of get the cobwebs out, I guess, and I knocked them out pretty good there. But I feel pretty comfortable about what it takes. I feel like our setup is right for what the race is. So we'll throw that in this car. Hopefully everything measures out the same. We'll have plenty of time between tonight and tomorrow to get that figured out and just race like normal. You go to the back and the front so many times during these races, it doesn't really seem to matter anyways. But I guess we'll just hang out and help them transfer some parts from this car over to the new car and just kind of be moral support and do whatever I can.
Thanks, Ty.
Thanks, Jamie.
Mike, I want to make a point. We've had wrecks like that and worse when we run 180 miles an hour. Now, I know speed's a big factor. You have less reaction time the faster you go. But we've had wrecks at this racetrack. You can't stop a car at 180 miles an hour. You can't stop a car at 203 miles an hour. That's a fact of life. So it's not like this is unusual, but the speeds are a factor.
Said his backup car is Jingles. Have you ever heard that name?
Was it Mr. Bojangles?
Well, no, that was Bojangles.
Oh, Jangles.
When I was a kid,
that guy.
Saturday morning TV, Wild Bill Hickok, his sidekick was Jingles Jones, played by Andy Devine, the guy with big, high, squeaky voice.